label the notes on a keyboard. All I can say is find the group of 2 black notes. Think of it as a doghouse, and inside the doghouse lives the dog, so letter D. And beyond that, you can go up E, F, G. A quick thing to remember, you all know about enharmonic notes that can be labeled 2 different ways. So we can have either an F sharp, for example, or we can call it a G flat. Also, another reminder that white notes can be sharps or flats too. Sorry, that arrow's not totally clear. That note right there could be called an E sharp, correct? It is also known as an F. Moving on, the next topic that you need to know is semitones. So you can have a chromatic semitone, which means that 2 notes are only 1 semitone apart, but they share the same letter name. So if I was to draw you an example, and you can draw this in your notes, we have an F going right to, for example, an F sharp. Or you could have a C going to a C flat. Draw yourself an arrow so that you know that those are examples of chromatic semitones. The second example would be diatonic semitones, and those share 2 different letter names. So if I was to redo my first 2 examples as diatonic semitones, I could go from an F to a G flat. And it would sound the same if I was to play it on my instrument, but it looks different on the page. If I was to fix my second example, I could turn it from a C into a B. That would be a diatonic semitone that sounds the same as my first chromatic example. And then last but not least, a whole tone is 2 semitones put together. So if I was to use the bass clef down here, going from an E, I would have to go up to an F sharp to make a whole tone. Or simpler, I could go from a C to a D. Basically, it's 2 semitones put together. The next thing that you need to know is you need to be able to memorize the outside of your circle of fifths fairly quickly. So if you start with your C at the top, you know that it is great, Danes, always, eat, bones, and it goes on. I'm not going to ask you to do the bottom half of the circle of fifths because we're not actually using that in this course, and so I don't think we need to memorize it. I made you do it at the beginning of the course just so you know it, but I won't require you to do it for the exam. On the other side, it's father, Bob, and remember it's B flat, eats, E flat, apple, dumplings. You can go through your notes and get those sayings again, or you can look on the internet. On the center of the circle, you need to know that the way you find the inside is by going down 3 semitones. So going from a C, I walked down 3 semitones and I got to an A. And you can find that with any other item on the outside of the circle of fifths. If I go from a G and I go down 3 semitones, 1, 2, 3, I get to an E. And I always use small letters on the inside to show that they are minor keys. So I will fill in most of the inside of the circle for you on your exam, but I'll probably leave maybe 1 box here and 1 box there. And I know it's time consuming, but I'm going to ask that you find the minor key yourself by counting down 3 semitones. The outside will be all blank and you will have to write that in. The other thing you'll need to know is the order of the sharps and flats. So you'll need to know that G major has 1 sharp and it's F sharp. You need to know that D major has 2 sharps and it's F sharp and C sharp, etc. And on this side you'll have to know that F has 1 flat, it's a B flat has 2 flats, and it's B flat and E flat. Moving on, we get to scales, and I think I'm just going to stop the video here in case some of you need to catch up.